Welcome, friends, to the Someone Gets Me podcast. I am your host, Dianne A, and I am so delighted that you're here. This podcast was created because I believe there is a visionary leader inside each one of us who is waiting to be seen. In each episode of Someone Gets Me, you will hear useful tips from successful visionaries who will share their stories about how being seen has allowed them to take their vision out into the world with action. The dark side of being the one everyone relies on. Hi, friends, it's Dianne, and I'm here to talk about something that is intense, maybe even a little triggering, but I think it's really important. I work only, as we all know, with neurodivergent and gifted people, and I have been doing this for many, many years. And one of the things that I notice in myself and in my clients is that there is a dark side to living life with more intensity and differently than what our society is designed to do. There is a lot of emotional upset sometimes, grief, difficulty with relationships, and the list goes on. So there is a dark side. And we always want to talk about empowering and how we don't want to pathologize things and all of those things. And that's all true. But I think that we would be remiss if we do not discuss the fact that there is a dark side to being the one that everyone goes to. I have many of my clients, and myself included, where we are the default word for the family or the work setting, where everyone comes to us for the answers, whether we're in the position of authority or not. Now, because gifted people and people who are twice exceptional and neurodivergent have a sense of justice and have a moral obligation built into our DNA to serve and do the right thing, it can be very tricky to navigate. Because part of the dark side is exhaustion, is that fatigue of figuring out, taking care of, making sure everything is handled, making sure all your work projects, even if it's a big group, that it comes out to the standard that you anticipate or expect for yourself. And there are so many factors that go into this. There is an invisible kind of labor, if you will, that goes with the dark side. And that is the effort that it takes to do the things and create the things that we do. I've had people say, I wish I could be in your brain. And I'm thinking, no, you don't. It's tricky in here sometimes. The neighborhood between my ears is not always flowy and smooth and pretty. And sometimes very jagged and rough and difficult. But you don't see that, often. And in my experience, when people do see that, sometimes they don't know what to do with it. So as gifted people, sometimes we learn how to kind of keep it close to our chest, the difficulty that goes on in there, but it is difficult. I have many clients who are gifted and they don't use that word, but they have this sense of being kind of emotionally exhausted over time from carrying the labor of their family or their friend group or work or all the above. So that is a very big, dark side of things because you're seen as the capable, competent one, and you are. And therefore, you become like the default person that other people might inadvertently and maybe even advertently take advantage of because you're going to solve the problem. You're going to take care of the situation because that's how you're built. And that sometimes without good boundaries can lead to burnout and exhaustion and emotional pain and loneliness. It can also lead to an identity crisis because your identity becomes the person who handles everything when secretly you would like one person somewhere to handle something for you. Because just because you're the strong one doesn't mean you don't have needs. And often in our world, people see the strong people as the ones who don't have any needs because they're strong. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, well, you're strong, you can handle it, or you're smart, you'll figure it out. And that is those are dismissive comments, and they're very painful to hear when you as a gifted person are trying to connect with other humans, right? It's not easy. And so that dark side can lead us to an existential loneliness or maybe anhedonia or depression. It can lead to anxiety when it comes to forming more friendships or relationships because we already know kind of where we think it's going to go. And maybe that's not what we want. There's so many things. There also is this situation where so many people try to rely on you that you either have to be front and center or you disappear. And people go, well, where'd you go? And it's like, well, I needed time for me. And then that all gets somehow misinterpreted by yourself and others. So there's a lot of different experiences and things that happen when you are neurodivergent and you either aren't aware of it yet, or you're aware of it but don't really know how to navigate it. And you create resentment for yourself and others. Resentment means to refeel something. And sometimes when we have expectations, those are resentments waiting to happen. And maybe you expect yourself to be a certain way or do a certain thing or act in a certain manner. And that's not how you're built. Right. And so you can create self-betrayal and resentment toward yourself by expecting things out of yourself that aren't realistic, are not even real in some cases. And so if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I probably have some of these, and I secretly feel kind of alone sometimes, or I'm not really sure how to handle my emotions, or why am I so inquisitive, or how come I have so much physical energy that has to be displaced, or maybe you think funny, or like you're weird or something, and you don't know what to do with that darker side and how to navigate the world. Go down into the show notes, schedule a call with me. I will help you because I do it all the time, not only for myself, but with everybody I work with. Because what happens is when you have a difference in you, you're different by design, as I say, then unless you understand that and you learn how to make friends with those parts of you and you learn how to navigate the world using your assets, then that dark side can feel overwhelming. I've had people come to me who've been crying on and off for God knows how long, thinking they were broken, when really the only difference was they needed a little bit of help understanding who they were and how to embrace their own wiring. There was nothing wrong with them to start with. It felt like it to them. It felt very dark and it was very real. And so the whole trite comments of you'll figure it out, or you might think I can figure it out on my own, I'll do it all by myself, those don't work. Like I tell everybody, if you could figure it out on your own, if any of us could figure it all out on our own, we wouldn't need other humans. But we are mammals, we're pack animals. We are meant to be in connection with others. We're meant to have that interrelational reciprocity of information, energy, and support, and kindness and love. And so if you're missing that in your life, I will bet you anything that there is a part of you that is being misinterpreted by you and maybe by others. And so it's time to realize that the darkness that we feel sometimes could lose its authority and power over us the moment we have more awareness and understanding, because it is difficult in this world sometimes. It is. As an empath and an intuitive and somebody who's got ADHD and I have all the overexcitability, sometimes life can be tricky. Sometimes I have to stay away from news or people who are angry, or I have to just be alone for a little while to keep my batteries charged. Sometimes it feels a little dark and a little alone. So what do you do with that? That's the question. How are you taking care of yourself within all of it? So remember that you have standards and you have an identity and you have a way of doing things that's natural to you. You most likely have a sense of justice and you like things to be precise and you have a good moral, altruistic way of approaching the world. Now, that could yield darkness in the form of resentment, cynicism, upset, anxiety, depression, all of those things, especially when it's misunderstood. So if you're feeling any of those kind of staticky feelings, I call them, then connect with me somehow. I'm happy to show you the way out of that static heaviness, because there is a way out. You are not stuck even when it feels like you're stuck. But understand that if you're the one everyone goes to in the family, if you're the one that everyone goes to at work, if you're the one everyone goes to in your peer group, that can be very laborious. That can be very tricky, and it can be a huge, big, overwhelming responsibility that for some people might be too much if it's happening all the time. So sometimes in my peer group where it's like, Dianne this, Dianne that, I will say, I'm taking a break now. Everybody else can figure it out and get back to me on it. And you know what happens? They do. My other friends do. They figure it out and they get back to me. So all I had to do was learn how to speak up in a respectful, kind way for myself and others. And so when you learn how to embrace who you are and speak up, your life changes for the better. The people who can't handle it will drift away, and the people who can will show up. It's how it works. The universe is self-sorting. And I've noticed that the right and perfect people show up in our world. Sometimes somebody who we think is the right and perfect person, and oh my God, we're so happy they're in our lives, but we realize that their presence or maybe what they do or don't do creates more darkness, or things just don't feel right. Or maybe they feel right for a time and then they don't anymore. That's when we need to honor the fact that relationships are meant to evolve and grow. You are always evolving and growing, whether you like it or not. That's how it works. So you get to pick the direction that you evolve. You get to pick the direction that you grow. So if you're in that dark space right now, then I hear you. I get it. I too have been there. There are times where I wasn't sure that I wanted to keep going. I understand. And there is a way out. So feel free to contact me. I am happy to help you in any way I can. And I want to be here to inspire you to be who you're meant to be, to remind you that you're perfect, whole, and complete, just exactly as you are. That everything about you that you know and everything that you're yet to discover about yourself comes together for the perfect good. I know that. I know it's true. So I hope that this episode has connected with you if you're in the dark area of life, and that you understand that those of us who handle the world a little differently, who are neurodivergent, that we have a lot going on, and that it's very difficult sometimes to have all these levels of sensitivities and understandings and try to make it in a world that wants us to be like them. Because we're not like them, whatever the them is, right? And that's okay. And we want to learn how to respect that in ourselves. That's all. And then that way, when you have self-respect and you stand in your authority, then that teaches others to do the same thing. And then now pretty soon, we're all free of the fear and the bondage of human ignorance. So I hope this episode has served you. I hope it has got you thinking a little bit more about your own internal landscape and how much effort you put into making it in the world, so to speak. And when you feel those dark days, it's okay. You're allowed to. It's hard sometimes. And if you're feeling too many of them, there are those of us out here who can hold your hand as you walk through them, as people have held my hand as I walked through them. So take care of yourself. Know that being neurodivergent can be very, very tiring. Until the next episode of Someone Gets Me, remember to keep your face to the sun so the shadows fall behind you, because you're a rock star. You're here on purpose with a mighty purpose. So go out there and allow yourself to feel all of who you are. Be your amazing self and know that you are beautiful. You are lovable. You are capable. Until the next episode, be well. Thank you for listening. I trust you gained some valuable inspiration and information. Please join me and other visionaries in the Someone Gets Me Facebook group. Or for more information on my services and additional episodes, visit someonegetsme.com. Again, thanks for listening.